Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 26th of June. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own shots, and I'm not here to shoot trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, so, yes, not moving yet. So today, I was commenting that yesterday and today were neutral. The obvious time to break down was on Wednesday. That doesn't mean that's the only opportunity to break down, but I would say that we are somewhat constrained by the historical stats for next week. That is the last 2 trading days of June. I've got a strongly bullish trading day on Monday, another one on Wednesday, which is actually 90% bullish. First trading day in July. Neutral on Thursday, and of course it's a holiday because we've got Independence Day on Friday the 3rd. We've then got the following week, we've got bullish leaning entire week. So you can see where I'm looking at as a window to retest the highs, and basically it's starting from Monday. Now, could we go lower on ES? We could. We could break down. The obvious time to do that on Wednesday was on Wednesday. We can break down. We can form the larger bull flag here, which is a possibility. And our failure to get off the mat so far is suggesting that that might happen. Although I'm still slightly skeptical, and it is Friday. We don't generally see things that exciting happen on Friday, so we shall see how it goes. In terms of NQ, again, we're torn between the larger and smaller options here. What I would say is that while the quality of the double bottom on ES has been deteriorating slightly, the one on NQ has been improving. We've gone a little lower here. That has actually given us a pretty nice looking double bottom here, which is that. And I am still leaning towards breaking up from here, but we will see. In terms of RTY, still kicking around at the highs. This retracement was mainly about tech and dragging ES down with NQ. YM kicking around the highs too. DAX still forming a big bull flag, and I'm thinking over the next couple of weeks, I'm expecting to see it retest the all-time high. ESTX still kicking around the highs. Nikkei might be forming a small bull flag here, waiting to see. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. And looking at the daily chart, obviously yesterday we very much did not break over the daily middle band, and we were still testing the 50 DMA. That could still break, but it is a very obvious area to be bouncing from. We've still got daily RSI 14 sell signals fixed across the board. I'm kind of assuming those will play out after we've done another high retest, but that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. On the hourly charts, we don't have any positive divergence. On 15-minute charts on SPX, we again don't have any positive divergence. All right, looking at the Qs. Qs, we came back up and tested the daily middle band yesterday. We have not broken above it as yet. But I'm leaning towards seeing that. We did close significantly below it, but it got a full test during the day. So at 726.83, and it closed at 725.58. In terms of the hourly charts, no current divergence. We still do have a daily RSI 5 buy signal fixed here, but it's already got pretty close to the target. So I'm really just expecting it to come back to 30, and then I will sign it off as no longer relevant. No divergence on the 15-minute chart here. So what's this, a buy signal? Actually, I think that might have been. So we still got an RSI 5 15-minute buy signal for whatever importance that might have. In terms of Dia, we never got close to a back test of the daily middle band. We're still well above it, and we didn't get close to it. And pretty much the same with IWM. In terms of the hourly chart, no current divergence. In terms of the 15-minute chart, no current divergence either. We're just kicking around waiting for direction. Looking at the historical stats, which I have to say have performed very, very well recently, but are not necessarily always to be relied upon. But looking at those, the next couple of weeks are looking fairly bullish. Looking at IWM here, IWM, we still got the same daily sell signal. On the hourly chart, no current divergence. On the 15-minute chart, no current divergence. We're just kicking around near the highs and making small incremental gains. DAX, as and when we see the retest of the highs on SPX and the Qs, I'm looking for a retest of the highs here. This is now, I think that closed back over the daily middle band. It did. And Nikkei, still close to the highs. Watching this resistance trend line up here, which is in about the 73,500 area. Right, and also when we retest the 72.8K, we will have a possible daily RSI 14 sell signal break, which would be a good addition to the others. All right, great. Let's have a look at the dollar. Now, the dollar's been retracing a bit. Didn't make any higher high yesterday. Looks like a bull flag forming. Not seeing anything to argue with that assessment really on the euro, on GBP USD, although we've got a possible double bottom here. We still haven't quite made it to 162. I'm a little concerned that we're not going to make it before we see another government intervention and this drops a while. This drops somewhat, we will see. USD CAD retracing a little. Yeah, Australian dollar hasn't quite made it to the, although it's really come close, hasn't quite made it to the head and shoulders in the target, with the target in the 68.75 area. Actually, it has made it. All right, fair enough. In that case, starting that off, that was reached overnight, I think. All right, that has made it. NZ had already made it. Might have a little double bottom for a bounce here. On NZ USD, we might also have a little double bottom for a bounce, and we got a 60-minute buy signal fixed. All right, let's have a look at bonds. Bonds, I'm wondering whether we are about to see some retracements here. We've got possible topping action here. We've got a 60-minute sell signal, although that's already got most of the way to the target. On ZN, it's not as close to the target, but it is currently fixing. I'm wondering if we're going to see a bit more of a retracement, but I'm not seeing anything to suggest that we're not going to continue higher after that. In terms of oil, that was disappointing yesterday. We had a buy signal, it delivered, which I expected, and it didn't go particularly far, which I was hoping it would go further. However, we have broken the short-term declining resistance. I am wondering, looking at the, we made marginally higher lows on both Brent and CL yesterday. Sorry, overnight. I am wondering whether we're forming bear flags here. We might see a higher high over yesterday's high and then come down and retest the lows. But of course, it could turn down and retest those directly. In terms of, well, I'll come to the daily charts in a couple of minutes. All right, HO still looks like a bear flag forming. RBOB. This still looks like a pretty nice looking double bottom, which hasn't broken up yet. And NG, we're going back up and retesting this high at the moment. That is not going to be the second high of a double top. I'm thinking we're going to go a little higher, and then we will see. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. And the chart I was looking for yesterday, I've now found. This is a tracker of what's going through the Strait of Hormuz. It's got an interesting stat here, which is how much they're charging for insurance. This changes every day. In fact, actually, an hour ago, this was showing a 3% war risk premium, which meant that we were at 23.3 times the normal insurance price. We're currently down to 13 times, but actually, this was over 100 times at the weekend. So that's good progress. We've actually got a fair number of tankers going through. I mean, Trump was saying that there's usual hyperbole that there was a record for the amount of oil that had gone through the Strait yesterday. We are not even close to any record. But nonetheless, a good quantity of shipping is going through, and that is encouraging. Sorry, that's fine. I've got a lot of these resources which I'm planning to include on a post that I'm doing at the moment. Obviously, there's a path near Oman the Americans had cleared, and the Iranians have forbidden anyone going down it and shot up one of the ships yesterday doing it. That was part of the course. That doesn't mean they're planning to charge, and doesn't mean that it isn't open, although they've not formally said it is reopened, but an awful lot of traffic is going through and they're not shooting at it, which is kind of the main thing. So we shall see how that goes. I'm liking the setup here. I think, does this explain why oil has got as low as it has? No, it doesn't. There's no rational reason for that at all. So I'm thinking that we're pretty close to lows, and we may well still be seeing oil prices in coming months. Oil stocks are very low. We are getting back up to the level where they might stop dropping soon. That would be encouraging. But then, of course, there'll be a period where they're built back up. I think we have not heard the last of the Strait of Hormuz, but for the moment, the peace process is working. Kind of, and we will see how it goes. And I don't have a decent bottoming setup on oil yet. I'm waiting for one. Okay, let's have a look and see how that's developing. Straightforward moves, odds of it being opened by the July the 31st. I mean, really, this is still at coin toss levels, but it's over 50%, which is bad. In terms of the buy signals here, buy signal made the possible near miss target on the Brent hourly and on the W tick hourly. Did we get the rally that lasted through till the end of the day? It's not as strong as I hoped it would be, and we gave up some for the end of the day. What I would like to see is the RSI get back to 30. We didn't manage that, but we do. If we're retesting the lows here, which I'm thinking is likely in the next few days, then we will get some positive divergence, but it's only going to be a weak divergence. I'd like a strong one, ideally. We will see how that goes, and the same goes for WT. We didn't make it back all the way up. So we will see. On heating oil, oddly enough, even though we didn't have a bicycle from the low, we have got. Okay, no. Yeah, okay. All right, we've gone too far to get a buy signal on heating oil. When I looked yesterday, that was looking more encouraging. And on gas oil, and we've obviously got a daily RSI 5 buy signal, which is already fixed, and it's just reconfirmed for the second time. I'm liking more movement up from here, but we are having some resistance on the daily movement. All right, great. Let's have a look at precious metals. Precious metals, we've got the 6-minute buy signal on gold has reached the possible near miss target, and this looks like a little bear flag, showing up a retest to the low. I'm assuming that would be for the second low of a double bottom. I'm liking the bull side here on precious metals generally. SI, we've got a buy signal as well, hasn't reached the possible near miss target. Could be a bear flag as well. Palladium, no current signals, but we retested the low. Platinum retested the low. Wondering about possibly going a little lower to hit this trend line on platinum and also on SI. Looking at HG, not really getting off the ground at the moment. If we are going to see HG retest the highs, then I think that will most likely be in the next few days. All right, let's have a look at KC. KC, we got a possible double top here, and we got a weak 6-minute sell signal fixed. Watching to see how that develops. I've got some negative divergence on the daily chart as well. Looking at sugar. Sugar is breaking up slightly over declining resistance, and it's a decent declining resistance trend line. I think this may well be bottoming to reverse back up. CC maybe topping out here short term. I've got a weak 6-minute sell signal is fixed, not a full size one. We've got a weak 6-minute sell signal fix, and I'm thinking we're going to see at least a bit of a retracement. Lumber, we've seen a pretty nice looking little retracement. This could be a head and shoulders forming, I would note, but it doesn't need to be. CT, probably going to retest the low, I think, as part of the bottoming process. ZW leaning towards seeing the same. Corn, we've already retested the low, might do that again. Soy, keeping an open mind on soy, might be an overall bear flag for me. ZL, this looks like a bear flag setting up at least to retest this low, but might go down to the head and shoulder target in the 65.50 area. Live cattle, still expecting to see a retest of the high here at 251.50. Not, well, it's taking its time. In terms of the lean hogs chart, we have a likely bear flag forming that might be starting to break down. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions, of which we have none. In which case, everyone have a wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you guys again on Monday. All right, cheers.